Hey everyone, welcome back to Rolling Across the Pond. We're doing a tea break today, and I am your GM Jesse, as always, and I'm here with Lee and Davida and Luke, and we're gonna talk about the episode 13. I'm pretty sure we've just been talking, recapping ourselves. So hopefully you've just listened to the episode last week and enjoyed it. What did you guys feel right off the bat? Like, yeah, did you enjoy it? After it's because it's been a long time for you listeners since we've heard it, because we recorded it maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. So yeah, it was a good refresher for me, anyways. But yeah, what did you guys think?
Yeah, it was. I love this episode just because there's like one major thing. There's two like major things going on. Obviously, it's like you have nothing but character reveals. Characters that basically seem to have secret things that obviously we haven't really talked about, and then the one thing that caught me off guard here, which made me fun while editing it, was the amount of how many critical 20s we rolled in this episode was unreal.
Many.
Like literally, I never got tired of putting in the Final Fantasy VII victory theme over and over again. I was like, holy cow, we are rolling hot. And I don't think we've ever done that in a very long time.
Not that many, yeah.
That many. But no, it was a really cool episode. It was fun to edit, put it together.
It was mostly Jesse rolling those too, I think.
It was insane.
I
was glad that he got it off.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And got all of them out of his system because, yeah, we don't want that ever happening to us when he's playing a villain.
Well, it's a good change from the other one where all his spies or what those rogues kept on rolling low numbers.
Oh man, that whole episode, last episode, episode 12. That was the worst battle. I don't ever want to be reminded of it.
It's fine. I want to call the episode Misery, but like we can't really call it Misery. But you know.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one. This was the first time we met Caesar, and I instantly liked him. He was pretty cool. And also the other animals. I just like how Hob is always asking what their names are, but I think she didn't get a chance to in this one because she was battling people. So I loved how Jesse kept on saying, "I know I'm skinny," and and he kept on saying all their names. I was like, "Thank you, Jesse." Because
I really prepped for these fights.
I feel like in the past when I've asked for names, it was an inopportune time to ask for names, or just forgot to say the names, or
I just didn't have names,
or didn't have names. And then this time I was like, well, I mean, I guess I'll stop asking, or we're in the middle of a battle, so it's probably not the best time. So I love that. I thought the Uber thing was kind of we'll talk about that later, but I was very uncomfortable. I'm glad I wasn't there. And but it was I don't know, it was a like lighthearted part to at least include in order to have our crazy battle intersperse some joviality with between.
Yeah. So true. It was, that was the dynamic I wanted, really, is we gotta survive this, we gotta keep fighting, and then it was like, hey, pass the leg, you know.
Exactly. Straight up. It's so good.
I loved how this episode let me try to flatter the DM because it's got such great world building and such great characters. And that like there is that connection between not only the two different stories that are happening in the split, but also that like you can connect it up to Hermit Chronicles and you get to see like, oh,
yeah.
You get to build that like I speak Leonic or reader speaks Leonic.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's great. I love it. So much fun.
Now, I don't know how I want to say this. We'll start from the start. We'll start from the start and we'll build in. So, well, I guess it did happen at the start with the support that happened for you guys, Hava, or you, your characters, Hava and Reader. Was it when I said there was a chipmunk swinging in last episode to have them come in and immediately attack a guard? I believe. Was it like, okay, I think we got this, or was it like, Are they on our side? Can I attack
Oh, I
them?
immediately thought they were on our side because
Okay.
I remember Jesse was saying stuff like, I know you guys have split up, but I'm going to send some help for you guys. So like he kind of prepped us in a way. Like, so I kind of knew we were going to have some like, I didn't even think it was a possibility that they could have been hostile to us
interesting.
because as soon as I heard there was a chipmunk swinging through and taking shots at these guards, I was like, okay, well, these are definitely our allies. It's the people that Jesse was talking about providing assistance for us, because me and Luke were getting into some deep water by ourselves on our very early split up from the team and the more experienced D&Ders over on that side of the pond. And
But for you listeners, it wasn't a rig thing. The way it played out is how they were able to appear. I don't try and make anything. I don't try to help my players. I put things in place to help them if story and dice rolls call for it. But I did mention to these guys, don't worry, in both Goro and Leaf and Hava and Reader's situations that they're split. I've made this campaign super hard. So I've made it so that they have always at least 4 characters in whatever capacity they have. So that is what she means by support, to where I threw like 5 characters in this, but it was because what the situation held was, it just coincided with this group of animals being there at the same time.
I didn't expect an entire group, but I thought he did. I remember Jesse saying stuff like, these campaigns are designed for 4 players, or for allies to work together. And since we had split up and we technically had 3, so we did have PJ with us, like I did anticipate at least one, helper support animal to help us fight any battles that we might come into. So as soon as I heard this chipmunk coming in, I knew this was our ally.
Oh, that would have been so funny if it wasn't. That would have been perfect.
Oh yeah. Oh, yep. I'm in general, I tend to be a very well, I mean, I designed my character this way because it is kind of how I am, overly trusting for people and seeing the best in people or characters or whatever. So it's like, if Jesse wanted to portray Hava, it would be very easy and to do that, because I shouldn't be giving him prompts like this, but you want some drama, Jesse, just portray Hava, and
we have enough drama with Hava right now. Listeners, you don't even know where we are in the campaign, and I have never seen Hava like this before.
Yep, you guys will see.
Yeah, trying to connect it up with Hava, or with Hava's side of things.
Sure.
Reader is more distrusting, but I'm trying to think how to phrase this. I hope to play an intelligent character someday.
One day.
But that will be a great challenge, because my immediate thought when the chipmunk was coming was, oh, cool, Tarzan chipmunk. And then, oh yeah, he's helping us to fight. Cool. So someday.
Yeah. And then the start of your episode, Lee, with how you immediately out of character and I think in character, you were like, I just want to burn everything. Like,
yeah, I just want to burn everything. I was so frustrated. I think the funniest thing about it is like that combat immediately realized like a few things wrong with Goro, just as in like, I'm useless unless you come up and punch me in the face. So it's kind of funny going like, I guess not all fights are going to be like that. So yeah, going to burn everything down if we go into a forest. I love how the fact it's like you guys have already touched on it as well. The fact that it's like we have all this extreme hilarious like fighting, and there's a serious conflict, and then you've got Leith, me and Uber burning the forest just for fun and just walking to like, this crazy insane situation, which we'll probably talk about later. But I just really was fun because obviously these are different episodes we've put like mashed together, which I think, Jess, that was the one thing you were worried about if they were going to work really well together, but it has.
Yeah,
but, like, when listening to it, it's been really fun because like you introduced like this whole group of people, and immediately how they were helping them. Immediately, I got vibes of the Brotherhood without banners from Game of Thrones. Basically, the guys who were trying to basically foil Lannister plans, obviously, if you read the books. And I was just immediately going like, cool. So these guys are they have no loyalty, so they're going to figure out what's going on. They're here to help them. And some of them are brick houses, which I was like, that's good. So they definitely need help in that department because obviously Rita and Hava can hold their own, but they have their limits in certain aspects. So hopefully these new characters can help them. And I think that's just kind of cool because obviously with the split, Sam and me, our decision making isn't great, like ever. So we've lost a little bit of like, I would say, our intelligence splitting the party. And Hava and Rita and PJ have lost a bit of brute force when it comes to
tactician.
Tacticians in a will. Yeah, like it's kind of a yin and yang. So it's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like it's been pretty interesting to see where it'll go.
Decisive decision makers as well. Even if Goro oftentimes will assume things that are not correct, he made decisions that quickly decided our paths.
Yeah, it's true.
Instead of no humming and hawing for Goro.
So black and white for the guy. I love it. There's no gray. There's literally no gray.
No DM's interference on trying to move the plot along.
Exactly.
100%. And like it is really funny that like Jess is trying to royally screw us over like every chance we get.
Every episode I'm trying to do that. That is not a lie.
It is true, and it's adorable. And it's like, yep, we're just walking right into his master crazy plans. So what's the worst thing that can happen?
No.
He won't betray me.
100%. You going to the Volden Kingdom, your choice. I will not take credit for that.
It's true.
I had not even thought that a possibility in any world to do that.
It is literally like two parties. One want to go save the Otterfolk. The other one is like, the king is a shady mother trucker. Let's go find out if he truly is shady and go to possibly the worst place we could possibly go to in the kingdom. And let's see how that will work out. So far, we've been set ablaze, shall we say, of frustration by these bandits. That's just the beginning. I don't want to give too much away, but it's just hilarious.
And then you met a few of the religion, like you did a research or history check, I would say a few episodes back, but now you're like actually meeting the people who run the religions. For me, just a quick PSA or something like that. Now I'm a Christian. I am religious. That's obvious. I mean, all my friends would say that. So for me, introducing religion into this is a bit weird and a bit, I'm not sure if I'm okay with it or not, but in the aspect of what it is and how they are portrayed and what they represent, it makes sense. It fits. And I don't mean to offend any religion. I don't mean to upset or belittle any religions. So don't at me.
I think it's just it's part of world building. Like, I think it's really funny. Like, I think the whole vegan is one of the funniest things ever. Like, we all literally were laughing. Like, Jess did a really good job of probably cutting out constant laughter between all of us. Because I'm pretty positive when it came to the freaking session, and we were just laughing nonstop, making jokes about turnips and stuff, and just loads of other random stuff. Like, but that's the joys of world building. Like, I think that's also a challenge as well, because obviously you're building a world, so there's got to be religions, there has to be gods, there has to be this and that. So, like, what is the mystery behind all this?
Exactly.
It's just, but we can have fun with it. That's the fun thing about it as well. Like, you have one where they just worship like shrubbery effectively, and then one that is just covered in blood and death, and we're just kind of like, yeah, don't want to go near those guys. You know, and it's just sick because it's just, that's the joy of world building. That's the joy of D&D. You can have this kind of like creative outlook on things.
Exactly.
I have a question.
Yes.
So the cook who slaughtered the deer, was he part of that bloody whatever cults, that religion?
Oh no, not at all. The platypus is a gangster.
Because there was that one like
Also,
religion, that guy was covered in blood,
Yeah.
and I was like,
The
if this
click boom
platypus
religion.
cook was
Yeah.
okay, I was like, is that platypus who like brutally slaughtered the deer part of that?
No, he's a chef.
He's a
All
chef.
platypuses, like, I love how our
And
animal
I think it's
law is like
platypi.
pigs are psychiatrists.
I don't think it's platypuses.
And
I think it's
platypus is a
platypi.
chef.
Oh,
Or
okay.
platypi, sorry. So yeah, platypi are chefs,
Yes.
and pigs are doctors and psychiatrists.
I
and
think
stuff. I just
psychiatry.
love, yeah, psychiatrists. I love how we're building certain animals that is their dedicated.
And I'm
job
starting
for
to
life.
lean towards tabaxis being rogues. I feel like like majority of tabaxis are rogues.
Yeah, the most of the rogues that we've met or encountered have been tabaxis. So maybe that's just their trade is basically, yep, well, there's one major one, that's Fagin, and the rest are all just going to be like Oliver and his crazy merry kids. Just pick apart your way to the top.
So the platypus, no, he just cooks, and
Yeah, man.
the animal that offered themselves was like kind of what in the episode Leaf, who was having an existential crisis, I feel like, throughout
100%.
the whole episode. He was like, how do I emulate this king? How do I do this? But he himself was like, well, don't I do this for them? Don't I do that for them? Well, yeah, obviously. So some people don't go to religions, so they will offer themselves as a food sacrifice because they know their king needs to eat. Like, it's not spiritual or anything. They just, I love the king, I'm gonna do that for him.
It's like a dark sense of humor, like a dark comedy.
Yeah.
Like it literally was like, oh, we're just doing this. This is fine. It's kind of like Weekend at Bernie's, but there was a sacrifice involved for everyone to eat. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, it wasn't weird. I mean, they're animals. They all eat animals.
But it was kind of funny watching Leaf try and like think like the king, act like the king, like be indignant as if these were insults towards the king. And I was like, I was just cracking up when like Goro was like, no, we're just don't think of it. Just keep moving. Don't get yourself into that because you're gonna get us all in trouble.
Exactly. I was like,
the king.
you're asking too many questions about things in order for you to be king. You can't do that.
Yeah, he immediately, I was just like, shut up. Like, literally, just like, I should have just kept pushing him forward, but no, just let him, because it just makes for fun. Because it's obviously like, I know what the king's like, but the audience doesn't know what the king's like. So it's kind of funny. Like, you're now seeing like the darker side to like what it is to be a king and what it is, and it's kind of funny because it's like we haven't brought out the worst in him yet. Just saying. But you've seen it a little bit in this. He has like all this crazy things in his like chambers. People are willing to sacrifice themselves to be eaten by him. Like, you know, it is an animal kingdom, but at the same day, it's just like, you know, he didn't show up like to the big, obviously, thing that happened recently. So like, you know, radar, like if you had a radar of dodgy and good, like it's definitely swinging towards dodgy a little bit. So.
Or just a normal king that does normal kingly things.
Hey, I'm just gonna break character and say hell no, Jay. Hell no, Jess. I know everything about him, so I can't ruin it. But no, don't root for that guy. He's a douchebag.
So to not move that far ahead, because I want to talk about a specific moment with Goro and Leaf. My question is basically to Davida. Why did you want to keep fighting? Every character in there was like, we need to leave. Everyone was like, we should go. Even the duck that you saved was like, look, you guys, like, I know firsthand there are more things coming. We need to leave. And yet you were like, no, why? What? Just curiosity, why?
I'm gonna rack it up to inexperience, and Hava was raging, so
okay. Okay.
I mean, yeah, probably. I thought we could actually take them. I didn't realize how much Rita was hurting at the time.
He
I
went down.
wasn't hurt. I wasn't hurt, I don't think,
Yeah.
at all.
No, you didn't get hit.
So I was like, everyone's fine. We're good. We no one's getting hurt here. And I wasn't thinking, oh yes, actually people are. And I didn't completely take stock of that particular battle, or any possible future battles, because if I was doing okay, I wasn't concerned about the others.
Listeners, I want you to really take that sound bite right there. I'm gonna leave it empty. There's not gonna be anything around it. That sound bite, and remember it for the next like 10 episodes. I want you to take that sound bite to heart.
Hava might be a little bit selfish. Now that I'm thinking of it, it's not what I meant to build into her character, but yeah, it seems to have kind of played out in her character a little bit, where she kind of thinks about herself a little bit more. I try and keep her thinking about PJ, because
Sure.
it's a little bit more difficult without Keith playing PJ to keep that in mind, as that character is built into my my own character sheet as a character that I need to continue to like protect / care about. And I think it tends to be a little bit more difficult when he's an NPC now, and so it's sometimes a little bit more difficult to realize that, oh yeah, the character that I still care for is still here. and I have to keep reminding myself of that while I'm playing. And I think it's more difficult to play that character.
But I would say you do fairly well. Most of the time you do remember PJ. You do make it a point to point out PJ.
Yeah.
You just leave Reader alone.
Yes. I felt like, since Reader was a barbarian too, I was like, he's tough. I'm tough. Like I just like feel like, oh, we're both tanks, so we don't really, I don't feel like I needed to protect him as much, because I felt like he's got the same, I think he has the same level, or he like, I thought
same level
at this point. Yeah.
Let's just say, as a player perspective, I have helped you with yours to max out a lot of your stuff, because mainly you're a new player, and you were a new player at the time. So I wanted you to feel solid and protected, to where with Luke, he came to me with the character.
Yeah. Was
Jesse like lets you adapt yours so that it's strength and constitution?
No. It was strength and constitution instead of dex.
Mine is just as the book is. Very minimal AC, especially for a barbarian.
So another thing that just because of the way things have been released, going back to the holiday episode, and we might do a tea break for that. You guys need to wait for it to be on the Patreon, probably, because it's so far out, and I don't know if we're ever gonna get it to be cohesive. So we might put it on the Patreon. So if you want to listen to that, great. It's at the Patreon. But just for my curiosity, and not for my curiosity, for my clarity, you met Caesar when he's been white, not blue. But in the holiday special, you said he was blue, that you met him. So
really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I got a little confused. Yeah, you're right. Wait, did I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you're right. That's really funny.
So, yeah.
Oh my god, that's funny, because I think I had listened to the Hermit Crab white when we met him right now in this episode.
Yeah.
But and then he's white in the Christmas episode, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I acted like, oh, you turned white. You guys got old.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I think it was because I just listened to that Hermit Chronicles episode.
Right.
Thinking, that's right. He was blue when I knew him, but that wasn't my episode.
Yeah. Just a funny little thing I noticed.
Oh, that's funny.
But Luke, peek behind the screen, this was before Hermit Chronicles, I believe.
This episode?
Yeah, this episode was recorded before we recorded Hermit Chronicles at all.
Correct. I believe there was. Yeah. No, you're good. Yeah.
It was in the plans, I think.
Yeah,
but I
it
don't
was in
think
the
you-
plans.
Yeah.
So Luke did an amazing job with going back and forth with not understanding what I'm talking about. He riffed really well with that and improv so much of it that I just want to know, what were you panicking? Were you like, okay, we're gonna solve these things? Like, I know your brain is a lot more of a, I need to prep beforehand. So when I threw this all at you, what happened?
Yeah, actually, I was about to say that because like, oh yeah, it was before the Hermit Chronicles because I specifically remember like, oh, I have to remember. He speaks Leonic when he's super excited and something like, and there was a breakup. There was, I have to remember all of these things, but I was like, let's do this. And I know I'm starting to get getting used to you too, Jesse, where you're very lenient. You'll riff with me as well. So I think if any other DM did that to me, I would have been like, oh, this is super anxiety inducing, but you're really good. And I don't know why I'm trying to flatter you so much throughout this entire
No, I feel like I'm just gonna have to kill you off this episode. So the episode we're recording tonight. Yeah, I liked it. I think it's easier for me to riff off of what you guys are saying because it's our world and I know the gist of it. So I know all of it. So I know what I can and can't say, to where you guys are like, I know nothing. And so I'm just going to say what I think is right. And I think, why do I have the right to disagree with that unless it goes against what I've already decided or what's already been decided? So I think everyone should take that into consideration. If you're going to DM something or GM something, listen to your players because they are the ones telling the story. You've created the scene, you've created the platform, but it's their story and you are just giving it to them. Yeah. And it's more fun that way. I'm not gonna be a dictator. So so that whole battle ensued, but let's go to a very key lead up to a question I have for Gore or for Lee. With what were you guys looking for in the tent when you reached the king's amazing tent and you rolled investigation for clothes? What?
Yeah, some of me had a whole hilarious elaborate idea of nicking his clothes, because obviously we found out the pendant had changed, so we could basically go incognito as the king but have different clothes to change, because guaranteed him and me traveling on the road and getting all dirty and whatever, the king will probably not have dirty clothes. So immediately we're like, yeah, we'll do that. But then that immediately got forgotten about because obviously we wanted Uber to have a phenomenal fun time, which he did. So like we had ideas and then we were just like, no, we're just gonna go as we should, because where we're going is probably not going to be fun. So screw it. We don't need costumes.
Okay. Now that clears up my brain, because I was like, okay, why are they so desperate to find regular day clothes? I was like, I can't give it to you. Firstly, you didn't roll high enough, and it's not there. I can't give you something that's not there.
Yeah, we wanted to Scooby-Doo our way into the kingdom, obviously, but that's completely that went off the table with our roles, I think. So
sure.
Yeah.
So in lead up to that, how did you feel about Uber's escapades?
Mate, I so wanted that to happen. Like, we promised it. Like, I've got 3 secret life goals for this whole podcast, and that was one of them. So there's still 2 more out there. But immediately, I think we made it as a joke when we first met Uber, saying he just left his wife and whatever. He has no idea what he's doing. And we all immediately like, holy crap, he has no morale. And then he basically was just like, I just want to find a wife. I want to find this. So just playing off you, Jess, I immediately was like, we're going to find him something and let him have a good time. And he definitely found that. So yeah, it was hilarious as heck. So recording that, like, I'm pretty positive you edited God knows how much hilarious innuendos that Sam and me were saying. I'm pretty positive all of us were laughing like non-stop. So just like minutes of just pure not even talking and just laughing because we were just having way too much fun just being just bad.
It was
so good. I think I wanted to really call it like 50 Shades of Uber or like 50 Drives of Uber, but like we just kept making up really bad puns at one point and immediately we're like, we can't keep doing this. We need to continue with the story.
Yeah, it was I'll tell you listeners two different things. I obviously, you guys know that I roll for things. So I firstly, as you all know, I rolled for his performance, but I also rolled for what was in the tent in the spectrum of hardcore to intimate situational. And that also got a very high roll, which is why there was quite a lot of things in there.
Yeah, mate. I love it. I was laughing so hard.
And
I literally was.
In the, because I do the main, cuts and stuff, and then I hand it off to Lee and he does all the amazing magic that you guys hear. In my notes, I put just random animal noises.
Yep, I did put them
instead of the music, instead of all that. And then I thought that's not going to go over well. We just a lot of squealing.
My first edit of it sounded insanely inappropriate. Just saying is all. So what's best when it comes to like movies and stuff like that? Let your mind go wherever. Like show less of a monster, do whatever. And when I first did it, I immediately was laughing my head off because I was like, I don't know how this sounds. So then I sent it to one of my mates who listens to the podcast and immediately was like, is that an animal orgy? And I just was like, yeah. And he was like, mate, I don't know if Jess would approve of this. I think this is hilarious as hell. But obviously you got to understand your age demographic. And I was like, yeah, so I'm not having that. So we'll just keep going with the hilarious puns of fun music and just whatever.
Yeah.
So let the mind wander where you want to go. Because, mate, it sounded insane. Like, it was mad. Like, literally. I put slapping and whip noises in there. I did loads of random stuff. At one point, it finishes, no joke, on one of Haver's sound bites of a, like, literally, and then just stops. And I was like, that's amazingly hilarious. But I can't put that in a podcast. No. Like, we have,
so funny.
We're just going to be considerate, but it was so funny. Like, oh my God. I laughed for a good 20 minutes putting it together.
Yeah.
Like, my YouTube search now is just ruined for like a month now.
Yeah.
It's just ruined.
So listeners, be thankful you did not hear that chaos that in my brain was happening and in real life Lee was listening to.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was an interesting scene for me because I, like you said, we're world building, so things like that do occur. There are brothels, there are those things in this world. This is not clean cut. I wouldn't say completely it's not modern because a lot of Hermit Chronicles, there's a lot of modern things in there. You all listen to that and be like, hey, he said it's not modern. Obviously, I lied. But there is...
Obviously, I lied.
So there is a lot of modern things in this world, but at the same time, it is still a medieval world. Yeah, so it's like that. But I guess I have like one or two more back-to-back questions of like, for your guys' after all that, Lee, when you finally decided to leave, what was your initial thoughts of like, okay, I think we can do this, or is it like, okay, we're gonna go and die?
Right. My effect is we're going to Mordor. That's my whole thing. Like when both our parties split, they were heading to Mordor and we were heading to Mordor. We weren't going to like, Rivendell or, Moria or anywhere nice. We are going literally to possibly the worst places we want to. And
we were going to Isengard and you were going to Mordor.
Oh, there we go.
You're going to Isengard. There we go.
We're the Merry and the Pippins.
Yeah, there we go. We'll go. I like that analogy. We'll go.
Here
with
are the
that.
Sam and Frodo's.
We'll go with
Sam and Frodo.
Yeah, we got to keep Sam literally is Sam. Yeah, we got to keep Sam with the Sam. Yeah, so wherever we seem to go in this universe, it's not going to be good right now. Because obviously, if you've listened, we're kind of just like, yeah, this is happening, but kind of in this episode as well, we brought back the mud monsters and a little bit of how they were doing.
Yeah.
So I literally was like, what the flip? I completely forgot about this. And just the madness that ensues with that, because there is that threat still out there with not just our initial beefs, and other people probably don't have a clue about that as well, that what's happened. So
Sure.
yeah, it's fun, should we say. So yeah, we're still going to Mordor. Like, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm pretty positive our listeners will love it. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, we all know what happens. We just
Sure.
have to basically do a Tom Holland and not try and spoil the things. But I
Yes.
think they'll look forward to pretty much everything that's coming. And yeah, this is like
Definitely.
just the tip of the iceberg, because it is fun. Our episodes seem to go from like serious, stupid, storytelling, serious, death, stuff like this, just all like just mass chaos just seems to happen whenever we go. Like, it's never just normal. Let's just say that.
Yeah, sure, true. And for you guys to, when you realized and that reveal happened about Caesar, what, I guess even for you, Lee, but I want to talk to Davida and Luke first. Like, when I said that, what did you feel? What was immediately your thoughts as your characters and out of your characters, I guess?
Well, my reaction was exactly what Hamid's reaction was, and that's a
And a faint.
then fall over. I was like, good storytelling, Jesse. Like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, this I did not see coming.
Awesome.
Like,
Awesome.
I mean, I guess I should have, because there's not many lines that we've encountered, in this thing, but
True.
yeah, I was pretty shocked at that fact, and immediately started trying to think, like, okay, so if they go to this king, because I'm thinking, Lee and Sam are headed over to see the king, and they're going to, and this is the illegitimate son. So, like, if anything happens to the king, there's this, possible, heir and all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, I was just thinking this could end up having a really cool, like, plot. I don't know, it was a good plot. I was thinking, like, this is good storytelling.
Great. That's reassuring to me anyway.
Yeah, I loved how, I'll start off with how Davida specified her thoughts on it, because she didn't say anything about it for the first like 7 sentences, and then like the last two, I'm like, oh, okay, so it's the genealogy, okay. But I think as what I was thinking generally versus what I was thinking as playing reader, generally I was like, oh, that's so cool. I love storytelling like that. Where it's like, oh yeah, the dad was the bad guy all along. But yeah, it just the implications of, like, that's where I know Goro and Leaf are going. It's like, this is gonna be fun. And then as playing reader, because we specified that I'm super anxious about, like, yes, I know exactly what happened in the past that's going to happen in the future. It was like, does he know this? He would know. He wouldn't know. Is reader surprised? But, so trying to think of something that's like, oh yeah, that's super surprising, as
Yeah.
if it doesn't. But then it's like, oh yeah, I totally knew that.
That's funny. That's very funny. Now, Lee, what did you think as you edited it? Because you didn't listen to it on the day. You
No,
weren't there during that time.
Yeah, we have a Baratheon situation, which I love. Everything comes back to Game of Thrones with me, just because I love it. So yeah, I literally was like the episode, I did a whole record stop and was like, shit, this is insane. Like, literally just drop that little atom bomb there. But that's also great storytelling on your part there as well, Jess, because it's like, I know how much the king is a douche. And so it's interesting when you see, because I think we were saying turtles and lions are extremely rare.
No, turtles and dogs.
That's it, turtles,
lions weren't
dogs.
a part of that, yeah.
Yeah, so turtles and dogs are extremely rare, but like anything lion related is obviously with royalty. So immediately it was like, oh yeah, it's a paw. And I was like, and it's white. And it was like, yeah, You don't say bastard enough. I really want you to say that.
I
but,
know.
you know,
I couldn't do it
I really
after.
wanted-
I can't do it again. I said
Yep.
it the first time, and now I'm like, it hurts me. It hurts me
Oh,
so
mate,
much.
I love it. I love it. So no, yeah. So it was funny. It was like unlegitimate love child. I was like, oh my god, how PC do you want to be, mate? Just say
Yeah,
bastard.
I
Come on.
changed it. I just couldn't do it. I
Made me
couldn't-
laugh so much. Just like, oh yes, illegitimate mistake, should we say? You know, it's all good.
yeah, I couldn't.
But no, it was awesome. It's really good because it's like, you know, we have characters, and obviously this is kind of like a fun, another awkward thing to write down for get on Darian's bad side. Like seriously, he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
But no, it's awesome. It's really cool, and obviously with all the other characters that were in it, and like obviously in the next episode that's expanded on a lot more. So that's
Yeah.
a lot of fun to look forward to, guys. So yeah, it was.
Wait, I have a question for you, Lee.
Okay.
Since your character Goro is like a very like, you know, was kind of close to the king at one point, or at least his dad is close. Were you thinking, is this something that I think Goro may have known?
So this is my dilemma. No, I only know about 2 other things that the king has done which made me leave the royal kingdom, which probably will never be brought up because I was like, that's incredibly not PC. But if I meet my dad, it will probably come out in dialogue, and it will. Garen frickin' Teed. So yeah, if I ever meet my dad, you'll find that out. But no, I didn't know he had, you know. But then again,
Well, I know you didn't know, but like if you like,
No, yeah, Goro
put
doesn't know
work
either.
into your character, Goro would
Goro
know.
didn't know. So there's certain
Yeah.
things that Goro knows and doesn't know, because otherwise
Right.
he's a walking liability. He would have been killed off years ago.
Sure.
Well, you're already a walking liability in general.
Yeah, I
but
am a
Yeah.
walking
Right.
liability. Period. Yeah,
it's,
that's true.
Yeah, he doesn't know. Like Caesar says, you know, only a handful of people know about him. He's not supposed to be known by anybody. So even King Darren basically is like, I don't even know him in reality.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun. Yeah, if those 2 things ever come out, I think that's going to also be ball busting. So, you know, it'll be fun.
Yeah. So any last remarks? Any last
So my favorite bit of this whole episode was when the lonely duck had a "Hello Darkness, my old friend," followed by screaming. I think that was the funniest thing. I listened back to that probably 20 times just to make sure you could hear the singing and then immediately just break into scream. Like, I love it. Yeah.
the audio with song, I was like, whoa, okay, that brings a
Yes,
dynamic.
the whole Seth Rollins "Burn It Down" immediately.
Yes,
I was
burn
like,
it down.
yeah, that's going to happen every time one of my favorite wrestlers ever comes out. That's the crowd singing that every time. So I'm like,
Awesome.
that's going to be in an episode. So yeah, I
was
have
very
the
good.
opportunity to put that in.
Yeah, no, the Hello Darkness over did throw me off. I was like, whoa, what? Because I
Yeah, it
listened
was
to
good.
the
Yeah.
unmusic version earlier because I was trying to help Jesse. But like, yeah, so when I listened to it with the Hello Darkness, I was like, oh my goodness.
Well, the funniest thing as well,
Just
I
like-
put in a few Wilhelm screams for before people killed.
Oh,
got
yes.
buffed as
Oh,
well, which I was
right,
like, that's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
happen as well.
Yes.
Because it's kind of funny because like Rita has magical axes, and that was basically sound effects from the new God of War. So effectively, whenever they seem to hit something, they literally sound like you're
Yeah,
breaking a
that was-
building.
yeah.
So I was like, right, so I've got to use certain other things, but these pretty much, if they hit and do a ton of damage, that's great. But like, it's funny. Like I've told Jess, like I've now categorized sound effects into finished forms and stuff, so it's easier. So I'm like, read a light hit, read a heavy hit, read a finisher, whatever. Like, so it breaks it up of like not the same sound effect over and over again.
Cool. Great. Anyone else? Last comments? Last questions?
I like the duck, and I wanted him to be friends, but everybody else wanted to keep killing him. I'm kidding. No, and it's really funny because I was trying to kill everybody off until I convinced one character to not attack or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
then I was like, immediately want to make friends with that, character.
I don't know if this is like me going back on my word or going against what past Jesse has done, but like seeing Caesar angry was weird to me when he was like, no, I want to kill him. Like, I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever said that in any other reality of Caesar. It was just very out of character. Maybe I was just like, we don't need the duck, Davida. Get rid of it.
Yeah, I think it was just like GM saying, "Don't pay attention to the stupid duck," but came through your more pacifist type character.
Yeah.
Although you also said, I think you also had one of your other characters say, "I'm going to kill the duck."
Oh well, that's true too. But it was just strange that it came from Caesar for me.
He's from Caesar as well, yeah. But I was like, save the duck. But like, yeah, I feel like that was, I don't know, that was kind of funny. And
funny.
I wanted, well, it was the first time we had encountered a sentient bird too, I think. Or no, yeah.
No.
I think
yeah,
so.
I mean,
you guys, yeah. Those guys.
No, but
it was the first time.
But you also had the bat.
We ran into he's not a bird. Bats
But it's a
birds.
type of flying.
I don't know.
I'm pretty positive you can see a bird. You won't go out your way to go, oh, I'm going to go find a bat. Like, you're like, not Bruce Wayne.
And ducks are just really funny characters. Like, in general, like, I feel like they're funny animals. Like, and so, like, just having a duck animal, like, sentient, like, duck. Yeah. And I was like, this duck I need to be friends with this duck because ducks are just great animals. Like, I think part of it was that.
I do have to say, duck dialogue is a lot easier because there's a lot of famous ducks.
Yes,
so
famous animated ducks.
In my head, I immediately went to them and did a rubbish job of recreating like a culmination of it. But it was easier to do that than, let's say, like a wildebeest. Like,
yeah,
I have one reference and they talk perfectly normal English. I have no other way of. Yeah. So yeah. It was annoying having the duck there, but it was fine.
And I wish Hava could see the good in the other characters too. Even though they're attacking her, she doesn't seem to see the goodness in the other animals unless they're being peaceful in general. And as soon as she sees that the animals are being peaceful, then she wants to be friends with them. But I think when they are attacking her and her friends, that's when
was surrendering, actually.
Yeah, he was. That's
I don't think he was being
wanted to be friends
peaceful.
with him.
I think he was being selfish. He was very much like, don't kill me. I don't want to. Like, what? I don't see peaceful in that. I just see cop out.
Well, surrendering is a peaceful action.
Would have been a war crime to kill him.
It would have been a war crime.
You're already in the middle of war, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, this is why Hava's a chaotic character. You never know what she's gonna do. Apparently,
exactly. It's very true. Right. So unless anybody has really last minute remarks, I'm gonna call it a day, call it a time. Thank you for listening. We're rolling across the pond again, and we really enjoyed this episode. Even just listening back to it, it was great fun. Hope you did too, and stay tuned for our next one coming very soon. I'm not going to give you a date because it's never right, and I'm not going to talk about that. So just put it away. Just put it away.
Fan art, people. That's all I'm going to say.
No.
You all know where to go. This is tea break, so we're not going to do a whole spiel. Unless Davida, you really want to. I'm ending on more of a casual note rather than going through the.
Go rollingacrossthepond.com. Check it out. Done.
There you go.
Done.
Okay. See ya. Bye.
Bye.